Back.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bashar Ansari, and I'm the recruitment manager for the School of Continuing Study at York University. Today, I've got my colleague, Aileen Watson, with me here as well. And we'll both be talking to you guys more about the postgraduate certificate programs we offer here at York University School of Continuing Studies, as well as the graduate study programs we offer at York University. So I will be covering today a small section about why I study in Canada, in Toronto specifically. I'll give you an introduction about York University, the campuses and our programs, tuition and living cost, and then of course we'll take questions, and then I'll pass it over to my colleague Aileen, who's going to be talking to you guys about the master's and other postgraduate program options that we have at York University. So guys, I would like to start off with giving you a brief introduction about Canada, of course. Canada is the second largest country in the world, based in North America. York University is based in the province of Ontario. You can see a nice, really lovely map here on your screen for Canada. And as you can see, Canada is quite large. So for you to get from British Columbia to Ontario, for example, you're looking at about a 5 hours flight. So that's how large the country is. Now, York University is based in the city of Toronto, which is basically the southernmost part of Canada. And Toronto is the largest city in Canada. In fact, it's the fourth largest in North America, and it's one of the most multicultural cities in the world. This is primarily one of the main reasons why international students love to come and study here in Toronto. Multiculturalism is, of course, a great factor. And just to give you a fun fact, more than 50% of the people that actually live in Toronto were actually born outside of Toronto. So many of these are first-generation Canadians, and we're used to having people from other countries, cultures, and backgrounds around us. Toronto is also the financial and business center of Canada, and it's a center for the arts, culture, film, and technology. And this means there's lots of opportunities for people looking to come here for studying or pursuing further careers, for example. And the diverse community also means that there's lots of cultural activities, festivals, including, of course, substantial Turkish community living here as well. So let's go further and talk to you more about York University itself. So York University is Canada's third largest university. It was established in the year 1959, and we're a public research university. We have 55,000 students currently with that come over from 170 different nationalities. We have really strong relations in the industry and the arts, both in the Canadian and the international communities. We have two main campuses in the city of Toronto, which are home to over 7,200 international students. The main campus where most of the international students go is the Keele campus. In fact, it's the bigger out of our two campuses. And this is where most of the programs are offered. And the School of Continuing Studies is also based at the Keele campus. I'll tell you a little bit more about York University. So we are a research-intensive university. We offer 200+ programs at the undergraduate, master's, and PhD level. We also have an extensive, well-connected alumni network worldwide, over 300,000 alumni. We are currently ranked 6th amongst Canada's top comprehensive schools as per the 2021 Maclean rankings. We are also ranked as one of the best universities in the world in furthering the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as per the Times Higher Education ranking. Some of the other really good things for you to remember: York University is also home to the only space engineering program in Canada. The Economist magazine has ranked our MBA program at the Schulich School of Business #1 in Canada. We are home to the only digital program that combines science, technology, and communications with the visual, performing, and media arts in the GTA area. York also has Canada's largest liberal arts program, and it has the largest psychology program in North America. We also house Canada's oldest film schools, which has been ranked one of the best in Canada. And the Osgoode Hall Law School at York University was ranked 4th best in Canada, just behind UFT, McGill, and UBC. So that's just some information for you to know about York University. And I have a introduction video for you that I'm going to play for you now. And it will give you a slight idea of what campus life is like at York University. Zainab, could you please play the first video that we have there?
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry, we can't hear anything, Zainab.
Sorry.
Proud to be a professor. Welcome to the virtual tour of York University. York University is Canada's third largest university with over 50,000 students from over 138 countries, spread out over 2 terrestrial campuses. We are connected and making an impact across the globe with over 300,000 campus alumni, 280 international partnerships, and the only Canadian university with an eco-campus in Costa Rica and MBA campus in Hyderabad, India. Founded in 1959, York is proud to be a progressive university that inspires new ways of thinking through excellence in teaching and research. We prepare our graduates for meaningful careers through top-ranked programs and diverse experiential education opportunities. Our community of diverse perspectives and backgrounds share the common goal of making the world a better place. Ready? Together, the way must be tried. Throughout this tour, you will get to see our Q campus and what our students experience here every day, including some of our many academic rooms and innovative learning spaces. You will see student spaces like where you can go to get food on campus, where you can study, where you can work out, the new York University subway station, and everything you want to consider. Enjoy the tour.
Okay, that is perfect. Thank you very much, Zainab. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and we'll go back to our presentation. Just bear with me. Okay. Right, so thank you very much, Zainab, for playing this video for us. I hope the students have enjoyed watching the video. So just to give you a recap, 7,200 international students from 174 different countries. We are a research-intensive university, 39 Canadian research chairs, Schulich School of Business ranked amongst the top, kinesiology and health science programs also ranked amongst the top here in Canada. We have 11 different faculties, including the School of Engineering, Health Sciences, Environmental Studies, Liberal Arts, Education, Schulich School of Business, the Faculty of Graduate Studies, and the Osgoode Hall Law School. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about our Kiel campus. And the Kiel campus is basically home to about 52,000 students, and it has everything you need to live, work, and study. If you're a student of the School of Continuing Studies program, so if you're taking one of our postgraduate certificate programs offered through the School of Continuing Studies, you'll be studying here at the Kiel campus. It's a self-contained community with 5 libraries. There are 92 buildings, athletic facilities, residences. There's a shopping mall, green spaces, common areas, all making up for a buzzing campus with an active campus life. It's of course the larger one of our 2 campuses, and it's basically like a city within the city of Toronto, where most of our programs are located. So it's quite huge, the campus itself. There's actually 2 subway stations on campus, and the main one that you see here is the York University subway station that you can see on the slide here. And we actually had the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Justin Trudeau, come to our university to cut the ribbon. And that was back in 2017 when it opened. It's basically a straight shot to downtown. There's no transfers. It takes about 30 minutes. So being at the Keele campus is like being in a little city with 52,000 students. That's basically your home when you're studying in Toronto. But if you want to go downtown for a concert, a festival, to see a game, or just to visit one of the restaurants that's not on campus, you can do that conveniently and easily. And you can come back home, just by taking a simple train to the campus if you live on campus. We do have another campus, which is the Glendon campus. This is more of our bilingual campus where most of the students studying here will have to take some courses in French. So it's just something for you to keep in mind. But our certificate programs are primarily offered at the Keele campus, not in the Glendon campus. Right, so I'm going to now talk to you about the School of Continuing Studies, which is basically a part of York University. School of Continuing Studies was founded in the year 2015, and it's home to our cutting-edge continuing professional education programs and the world-renowned York University English Language Institute. Now, for those of you that are wondering what CPE is, so basically it stands for Continuing Professional Education, and the certificate programs that we offer here at postgraduate level are designed to complement and build on previous academic study and practical work experience. So for example, if you are someone who is looking for a promotion in their job and looking to further their education and their skills, and for that reason they've taken up a program, this is a suitable program for you to look at. For others that might be looking for a career change, so for example, you might have a general management degree and now you want to get specifically into marketing side of things, and you want to explore doing or just changing your career altogether, for example, from being an accountant to being an IT professional, for example, or something like that, for example. Or you're someone who just wants to be up to date with the current fast-paced, knowledge-based economy, and you want to upgrade your academic and knowledge skills, of course, you could definitely look at this program as well. I'll tell you a little bit more about the program structure and how it all works. So these certificate programs are at postgraduate level. So students are required to have a bachelor's degree from a recognized institution for them to be able to get admission into these certificates. These are 8-month full-time programs, and we have 7 full-time certificate programs that we can accept international students in. So we have business administration, we have human resource management, we have accounting, we have the second stage, which is the advanced professional accounting. We have content and digital marketing, we have public relations, and we have the our only technology-based program at the School of Continuing Studies, which is blockchain. This is actually one of the programs that you should definitely keep an eye on and learn more about. In terms of the key highlights, so these are quite short. The program duration is only 8 months, and it's actually meant to be that way. It's designed to be that way because the aim is to, of course, get the students in and then get them into employment as quickly as possible after gaining the required skills. The programs are designed in close consultation with peers and leaders in the industry, employers. So, of course, we teach you what the employers really value in terms of, real hands-on job skills these days. We have multiple start dates for these programs. There's lots of flexibility. So you can see that there's 4 programs here that are starting 3 times in a year. So January, May, and September. Our next intake is May, which is the summer intake, and 4 of our certificate programs, including business administration, HRM, accounting, and content and digital marketing, are available in the May intake. Apart from that, all the rest of the program are available in the September intake, and we are currently accepting applications for these. One of the other really important factors that international students want to know is about the post-study work permit. So students are eligible for a post-study work permit upon successful completion of this program. So it's really great for students that are looking to get some work experience while being in Canada after they've completed their studies. The tuition fees is also one of the main attractive things about the program. It's extremely competitive if you compare it with other institutions here in the Toronto area. And I have a separate slide on the tuition fees, which I'll show you in a minute. Before going there, I'll talk to you about the entry requirements for the program. So the academic entry requirement is for students to have a 60% aggregate in their bachelor degree. So an overall 60% mark. If your grades are in a GPA or another way of grading system, you must convert it and see if it's 60% as an aggregate. Some programs do have additional academic requirements. So for example, our postgraduate certificate in digital and content marketing, we require students to also submit a statement of interest, which basically says what makes you an ideal candidate for this program and how do you fit, how do this program fit in with your career goals. In terms of the English language proficiency, so for most programs, apart from blockchain, we require a minimum IELTS of 6.0 overall. There is no specific individual scores required. However, the better your score, the better chances you have of being accepted. We also accept Duolingo because we know that getting an IELTS can be challenging in the current situation. So you need an overall score of 104 if you are using a Duolingo for admission purposes at York University School of Continuing Studies. The blockchain program has a higher English proficiency requirement. We need a 6.5 overall, and we need a 6.5 in each component for students to be eligible for the blockchain program. Now, for students that don't meet the English proficiency requirement, for example, if you want to do blockchain program, your overall IELTS score is 5.5 or let's say a 6.0. We do have an academic program which you can enroll for, which is offered within the York University's English Language Institute. And you might have to do a certain duration of that program. And upon passing and successful completing, you will meet, and as long as you reach that particular threshold required, which is equivalent of 6.5, you'll be able to join your certificate program after that. So basically what I'm saying is it's possible for you to get a conditional acceptance into the certificate with a lower IELTS score if you're looking to do the AP program and then get conditional acceptance for the certificate that way. In terms of the tuition fees, so as you could see, for business administration, for accounting, digital and content marketing, and public relations, the tuition fees is only $15,199 for the full program. The postgraduate certificate in advanced professional accounting is slightly more expensive, so it's $17,099. The bachelor, post-bachelor certificate in human resource management is approximately $19,000. And then we've got the backend and blockchain development, which is $20,099. I have another video for you guys, which is one of our students talking about our business administration diploma. I'd like to share his experience with you. So I'll request Zainab to please play the second video for us.
Sure.
Zainab, do you need me to stop sharing my screen for you to play the other one?
No need, I think.
Okay.
Can you hear the sound?
Yes.
Okay.
My career goals are like to be involved in some business. But the thing I like is that this course give me all the combo of what is required for a particular business. But if I'm doing any project management, if I'm looking for marketing process, everything is set up in this course. So this course has put me up and gave me the knowledge which I can practically use in any subject of business. So yes, this is the first step I could say. And vast knowledge and a good instructors have taught me lots of things and they have teach me lots of things to be into that business. Like every subject has their practical presentations. You have to include your ideas and you have to show it practically how we can use them. you are looking for particular knowledge to go a step ahead in your life, you should select programs because sometimes tenure doesn't matter. The knowledge what you learn from that tenure matters a lot. And this program is very meaningful, very specific, and very particular to go ahead and to achieve your goals in your life.
Thanks, Zaya. So I'm going to go back to my presentation. So I hope that that gave you a bit of an idea of the outcome of what students, this particular student achieved at the end of, completing his program. And we have a number of different success stories to share with students. Of course, we don't have enough time to be able to share them right now. So just one other thing before I hand it over to Eileen is about the winter intake and then the future intakes. At the moment, as you know, with COVID-19, currently we are offering our January term online, and it's 75% synchronous and 25% asynchronous. Now the future intakes, which for example the upcoming summer intake is also going to be online unless things have changed. So far, what we've decided is that it will also be delivered online. And there's a number of advantages of taking these classes online. It's more flexible. You can save money in terms of not being able to travel at this moment. As you know, you're allowed to travel. You're allowed to complete at up to 50% of your program from outside as well, without losing out on the postgraduate work permit. So those are just some of the things you should keep in mind while selecting your options in terms of studying online or studying face-to-face. We are amongst the approved DLIs, however, so we are allowed by the Canadian government to allow students to come into Canada if they're taking up a program at York University. However, even for students that apply for a study permit, they get the study permit, they're welcome to come into Canada, provided that they meet all the requirements to enter, which includes the quarantine and everything. However, the classes will still be delivered online. So you'll still be within Canada, but you might still be taking online classes until we go back to face-to-face learning on campus. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for this. These are my contact details. I'm going to put them in the chat box for you to note as well. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over now to Eileen to talk more about the graduate study programs.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. And thank you everyone for your questions that are coming in. I see a lot of good, a lot of great questions about both York University, studying Canada, all that kind of good stuff. So let me just share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So, and if you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat and we will be able to answer them. Okay, so as Bashar was saying, my name is Eileen and I am the Graduate Recruitment Officer here at York, and I am able to help with any admissions questions you have about graduate programs at York for programs that are not Schulich School of Business or Osgoode Law School. Those faculties have separate admissions processes, so any other master's or PhD at York, I will be able to talk about. If you are interested in science, or sorry, business or law, I can always refer you to someone to speak directly with them as well. So as Bashar has talked about York University as a school, I'm going to jump right into graduate admissions and basic eligibility. So in order to be eligible for a master's at York University, you need to have a 4-year honors bachelor's degree. And within that degree, you need to have a GPA or a grade point average of a B+ or above. So we'll go into what a B+ is because most schools don't use a lettered system, but it's the most important things, 4 years, B+ or above. To calculate your admissions GPA, it's pretty complicated. However, we use your last 2 years of undergraduate grades available on your transcript at the time that you apply. So we start at the bottom of your transcript, we count up 2 years, that's the GPA. It doesn't matter if you are taking first year versus fourth year courses or core courses for your degree versus electives, doesn't matter, last 2 years. Now, in terms of PhD admission, if some of you are in your master's right now, in order to be eligible for a PhD, we need you to have a master's degree, length doesn't matter, and a grade point average of a B+ or an A-. Some programs will accept a B+, some want you to have a little bit higher standing with an A-. To calculate your admissions GPA at the PhD level, we use all of your grades from your master's. Now, I'm not sure which GPA scale you're working with, but this is what a B+ means to us. On a 100-point scale, it is a 77 out of 100, a 7 on a 9.0 scale, 3.3 out of 4, or 3.33 on 4.3 scale. Now, for all international students, we calculate your GPA according to your university's grading scale, and then we translate it to York University's. So we would use the scale that essentially comes on the back of your transcript. So most programs do have the minimum of a B+. Some will take a B, for example, civil engineering and economics. However, really important to note, graduate admission at York is very competitive. So even if you meet the minimum requirements, it doesn't necessarily mean that you would be admitted to your program. So even having that 4-year degree, even having that minimum GPA, especially international admission, very, very competitive. So I had seen some questions in the comments about what programs we offer. So I'll actually send this whole PowerPoint on over so that you can have the whole presentation. I'll just go through really quickly what we offer. So first, we've got School of Arts, Media, Performance, and Design. So I've listed all the programs we offer, and then I've listed levels as well. So some programs have a master's and a master's only. Some have multiple masters. Some have a master's and a PhD. So that is that faculty. Then we've got Faculty of Education and Faculty of Environmental and Urban Change. Just a note, I should note that the MEd, the Master of Education, is not a teaching program. If you wanted to teach in Canada, in Ontario specifically, the program is a 2-year Bachelor of Education that you would pursue after having a 4-year honors degree. Glendon, so as Bashar was saying, there is another campus that York University has in Midtown Toronto. Glendon, now all the programs listed on the screen have additional language requirements. Either you need to be fluent in English and another language, or English and French, or in French only. It depends on the program. So additional language requirements do apply for all of these programs. We've got Faculty of Health. Someone was asking about a psychology program, which yes, we do have. Then we've got School of Engineering. Someone was asking about computer engineering, which we do not offer, but we have computer science and then electrical engineering. So perhaps your research would be able to be done within that department. Then we've got the largest faculty at York by number of programs is Liberal Arts and Professional Studies. So this is a faculty so large, it has 2 slides with all of the programs on it. So this is part 1, and then we have part 2 as well. And I've highlighted management practice on here because it is a brand new program for fall 2021. So we are accepting international students for that program, and yeah, it'll be run for the first time next fall. Then lastly, for programs, we have our Faculty of Science. Tuition. So we'll go through what it costs to do a graduate degree, and then I will talk about funding and scholarships, as there are questions about finances. So this is what tuition is full-time for an international student per semester. Now, there are 3 semesters in the academic year at York. So if you don't see the program that you're interested listed on the screen, you can go right down to the bottom where it says all other master's programs, and all PhD programs. So if your program isn't listed, you would assume that your tuition level would be this. So $6,548 per semester is approximately 20,000 Canadian per year. PhD programs, you're looking at just above 19,000 Canadian per year. And the length of program varies. Some programs are 3 terms or 1 year. Some are 6 terms, so 2 full years. It really depends. So funding, there's 2 kinds of funded spots for international students at York. We have funded and unfunded. So some programs do offer funding packages to international students. It's very competitive. You'd have to be a top student to gain admission and funding. However, we do also offer unfunded spots where you are welcome to a spot in the program, but you would need to self-fund or showcase that you have enough funds to pay tuition and living expenses in order to come study at the university. So funded spots, if you are applying for a spot at a graduate program where you want that funding package, you want your tuition covered, you want living expenses money, you don't have to do anything extra. You are automatically considered for a funding package when you apply. There is money that you can apply for, so other bursaries, scholarships, government scholarships, that kind of thing, and we'll go on in later slides about exactly what those are. But for the university funding, you don't have to do anything extra. You're automatically considered. So if you are awarded a funding package, so a chunk of money from the program to you, you would find out in your offer letter. So your letter of admission would say, congratulations, you've got a spot in this program. It would also say, here's how much money we will give you per semester or per year to come study at York. You can apply for more money if you want. There's scholarships, certainly, that you could apply for. But other than that, there's no application, there's nothing extra that you could do. The following programs do not offer funding packages to domestic or international students, so they are completely self-funded regardless of who's applying. They just don't offer funding packages at all. So I'll just leave that up there for 1 second. Do we have language programs in our university for students who have an insufficient language level? Yes, we have a language institute. So I'm going to go over to the basic funding packages for master's students first. If you were awarded a funding package from the program at the master's level, usually it is enough to cover your tuition. So you would, as a student, would still be responsible for your living expenses. So your rent, your food, your personal expenses, that kind of thing. But the standard funding package for an international master's student is just under $21,000, so it covers your tuition and then health insurance as well. And again, when you apply for a program, you don't have to do anything extra to be considered for this. The program assumes that every international student is applying for this too. So your application to the program is also your application for this money. Now at the PhD level, it's a little bit different. The PhD funding package is approximately $36,000 a year. So that covers your tuition, and you would have approximately $17,000 a year to live off of. Now, for the master's funding package, if I go back a slide, you don't have to work for this money. It's not based on financial need. You don't need to pay it back at all. When we move into the PhD funding package, it is, you would have to work a job as a teaching assistant. So you would get a guaranteed job as a teaching assistant. You'd have to work 10 hours a week between September and April. But this is the standard PhD package. It is much, much, much more likely that you would get a funded PhD spot. There are funded master's spots, especially in science and engineering programs, but virtually all international spots in a PhD program, whether you're domestic or international, are funded. If you're not familiar with the teaching assistant role, it would be 10 hours a week of work between September and April. You would basically assist a professor with marking, running exams, running seminars, that kind of thing. So I'm sure that you have teaching assistant or a similar job at your university. Now, some programs offer more money than the basic funding packages of $20,000 and $35,000, $36,000. Funding packages that include a guaranteed TA job are prioritized for PhD students. So we make sure that all of our PhD students have teaching assistant jobs. Then we go and see, okay, do we need more TAs? Then we can offer that opportunity to a master's student. So it's more likely that you will have a TA job if you're in science or engineering. We just have more TA jobs in those areas. But PhDs first, then master's students if they're still needed. But some programs, let's say the international funding package, the basic funding package is $20,000. They offer their master students $40,000. So your tuition would be covered and you have $20,000 to live off of. Again, you would find out in your offer letter, your offer of admission, you would find out your funding package information. This is a complete list of scholarships that international students can apply for. Some are quite large, like Ontario graduate scholarships are $15,000 per year. Trudeau scholarships are tens of thousands of dollars per year. So some of them are quite big. The application timeline for graduate studies is the same every year, and we usually most graduate programs only have a start date of fall, so September. So for the next entry point, September 2021, applications opened in October, and the deadlines fall between December 15th and April. Every individual program has its own deadline. So some were due December 15th, some are due January 15th, so on and so on. Decisions usually come out between February and June. It's quite a lengthy process. It takes several months between applying and decision. And then school starts in September. We're still not sure what September 2021 will look like due to the COVID-19 situation. We've determined that we are online until August 2021, but no decision has been made for September yet. How to apply? It's completely online. So we've got the application link here, and then you would submit documents, usually online as well. Some program deadlines have passed because they began December 15th, but most programs are still online accepting applications. So that is the quick presentation about graduate studies at York. I've got my email address up here if you have any questions, and I will send the whole PowerPoint presentation through to you. I'm not sure how we'll get it to you, but you can have the whole slide set, and so do your own research, send me an email, that kind of thing. I should note that York University is going to be closed between December 24th and January 7th. So the university will be closed during that time and staff won't have access to email. But we'll be glad to get back to you in early January for sure. Okay, so that's it for my presentation.
Thank you very much, Aileen, for all these details about the graduate programs. I hope the students that are attending today found this useful. One other thing I would like to mention also is that, as you might have heard from Aileen talking earlier about, the postgraduate programs at York and overall in Canada being quite competitive in terms of the admission requirements and stuff. It's becoming a norm for international students to explore postgraduate certificate or diploma qualifications, because sometimes those are sufficient for you to meet your needs or to achieve the aims that you're trying to achieve, pursuing further education. So one of the things, for example, you saw, I was also listening to Aileen, and you talked about the B+ grade, for example, coming up to around 70-75% marks. So usually the academic entry requirements for masters are quite high, whereas for some of these certificate and diploma programs, they are not as challenging to get into as the master degrees. So the fact that York University also has these certificates is something that you can consider as an alternative to pursuing a master's program. We do have, business administration, of course, for students looking at business. We have human resources, we have accounting, and we have blockchain, of course, with technology. We have public relations, which is another one that might be of interest to a lot of students. So you're welcome to send us if you have any questions by email. Please do share with us, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. I'm going to put my contact details in the chat box for anyone that needs to get in touch. And I hope you guys have found this presentation useful, and we'd welcome you guys to apply. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help.
Thank you, Bashar, the two of you. But I see like 2 or more questions and unanswered. Maybe you could answer them too.
Sure. Let me just look through here.
You answered a lot of questions, but just the 2.
Yeah, I was just trying to see. Okay, so I'll just 1 or 2 things that I did see questions about. A couple of people asked about the language programs for students that have insufficient language level. So the answer is yes, we do have language preparation programs for students at undergraduate as well as graduate level. It could be master's or even PhD level. Depending on which program you're looking to pursue at York. For example, if you're looking to apply for a Schulich School of Business program, such as an MBA or a master's in finance or something like that, we have a specific program called, pre-MBA prep program. It's basically an MBA specialized preparation program. And then similarly, for students that are looking to not just apply to York, but let's say they're exploring postgraduate study options in Canada and just want to improve their English language skills, research skills, and other skills. We do have another program called the GSPP, Graduate Study Preparation Program. And this program, we not only help you with improving your English, we also help you with like preparation for GRE, GMAT, and of course, applying to universities from within Canada. So it's a great program for you to explore. And if you have any questions about the English language programs leading into, the programs at York, the academic programs at York, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to help. Can we do masters, the program the program we want, independent of graduation program in Turkey? Aileen's writing an answer as we speak. I think what the students referring to, I guess, is having a cognate background or a non-cognate background. Like, not sure I quite understand this question, but I'll let Aileen reply because she's replying to that already. How are your scholarship programs? Are there in Turkey? So we do have scholarships at undergraduate level. I'm sure we do have some at graduate level too. I'll again let Aileen talk on this one. Okay, and there is another one, which is about the entry requirements. What are the admission requirements for a political science and international relations master's degree? So this is again going to be an Aileen question, so I'm going to leave it for her to answer. And by the way, I've seen a few students also inquiring about local representatives in Turkey. So just to let you know, we do have a few really good companies that we are in the process of signing up as representatives in Turkey. So if you do need assistance at this point with submitting an application or just help with your study permit applications and so on, we'll be more than happy to connect you with one of our representatives. And our representatives are based in most of the major cities in Turkey. So I don't see much of a problem. All you need to do is just get in touch with us. Get in touch at my email ID, and I'll be more than happy to connect you with one of our local partners.
Yes, thank you very much for your presentation. It was a really informational webinar for the Turkish students. You answered really a lot of questions, and thank you for that too, particularly. I would also like to thank the participant in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks. We will see you again.
Likewise. Thank you very much for having us today, Zeynep. And you guys have a great rest of the day ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.